Hello there, we're coming to you live and direct from our News First studios here in Colombo. I am Sonali Wanigavadage. This is Primetime Breakfast News. We start off with a look at the stories making headlines this morning. Indian Prime Minister says India can't cut off ties with Sri Lanka. Ministry of Prisons and Prison Reforms takes measures to computerize data pertaining to those being held there. US avoids default as the US President signs a debt bill into law. Indian Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh states that India cannot restrict economic ties with Sri Lanka. He pointed out that this would only encourage China and displace India as a strategic and trading partner. The Indian Premier made these observations in response to a question raised by Chief of Regional Marumalachi Dravida Munnetra Kalagam V. Gopalaswamy, also known as Vaiko. Indian media reported that Vaiko had told the Indian Prime Minister that the Indian government must apply pressure to mitigate the sufferings of the Sri Lankan Tamils. In addition, Vaiko also brought to the Indian Premier's notice the issues faced by Indian fishermen at the Sri Lankan maritime border and the Sri Lankans who are in refugee camps in Tamil Nadu. Vaiko also stated to Indian media that he had a meeting with Home Minister P. Chidambaram in this regard. The Ministry of Prisons and Prison Reforms has taken measures to computerize data pertaining to those being held there. Minister Chandrasiri Gajadhira stated that to date, 254 inmates have escaped from prison. Of that number, only 14 have been captured.
Minister Gajadhira stated that in the past they were unable to capture these inmates due to the unavailability of a system of comprehensive data available on these inmates. In a bid to prevent this happening in the future, fingerprints and physical characteristics of current prison inmates are being computerized. The minister stated that this move will enable them to look into the welfare activities of the prison inmates. He further noted that computerizing prisoners' details will also enable them to counter allegations that deserving inmates are not released from prison.
The Health Ministry states that the available BTI bacteria is only sufficient for another 2 months. Director of the National Malaria Prevention Unit, Dr. Sarath Dandenia, stated that only 800 litres of BTI bacteria is available. Dr. Denia noted that the committee appointed to look into whether another stock of BTI bacteria needs to be imported will make its decision next week. Recently, 10,000 litres of BTI bacteria was imported from Cuba. The Joint Trade Union of the Ceylon Electricity Board states that CEB employees will call in sick and not report to work today in pursuance of their strike action. Trade Union member Ranjan Jailal stated that this trade union action was being taken against not being paid their 2009 increment and 10-month salary arrears. Ranjan Jailal stated that only those working in plants will be reporting to work today. Now, in response, the Minister of Electricity stated that he will take steps to effect the next salary increase for Ceylon Electricity Board employees in January 2012. He noted that the Finance Minister is due to make a decision on the issue. The fishing families in the Kalladia hamlet in Karathiu, Vanathavilua are facing severe hardships due to the non-availability of infrastructure facilities. They charge that they have been facing this situation over several years now.
13 such families engaged in fishing as their livelihood have thus been affected by the lack of infrastructure facilities in the Kalladia hamlet. They charge that they haven't been given a piece of land upon which to erect a house. This group has appealed to be given a piece of land that is at least 10 purchase in extent. Stay tuned for a full report on this story on Lunchtime News.
Starting off with some cricket news, Sri Lanka A were 27 runs for no loss at stumps on day one in their 4-day match against the England Lions. England Lions were all out for 299 runs in their first innings.
The match is being played at the North Marine Road ground in Scarborough. England Lions won the toss and elected to bat first. James Taylor top scored for the England Lions with 76 runs, while Samit Patel scored 52 runs. Sachitra Senanayake was the pick of the bowlers for the Lankans, bagging 5 wickets worth 47 runs. In reply, Sri Lanka A were 27 runs for no loss at stumps, with Malinda Warnapura and Lahiru Tirumana unbeaten on 22 and 5 runs respectively.
England rugby players practice their skills ahead of the Rugby World Cup next month with pies. They are also eagerly anticipating the competition on the pitch. The cooking competition was held under the theme Get Up for England.
England rugby players eagerly anticipating the World Cup in September practiced their skills yesterday in the kitchen. Some of the squad entered a pie cooking competition as a publicity for Get Up for England, an initiative to ensure rugby fans at home are up early to watch on TV World Cup games being played in New Zealand. Under the plan, fans will be able to have delivered to their home an England rugby breakfast pack comprising pies, beer, a flag and team message. Fans will also be able to download an England team wake-up call direct to their mobile phones so they can be woken up on the match day by a message from one of the players. Veteran squad member Lewis Moody, who captained England last year before being injured, has 66 caps, equaling the record for a flank of former player Neil Back. He said that they will be playing to win this World Cup.
We'll be playing to win, and it's just the simplest way of answering that question. I think this England side doesn't have any particular stereotype at the minute. I think over the years there's been the sort of stick out the jumper and kick the leather off the ball, but you know we've shown over the last sort of 18 to 24 months that we're also capable of running it from anywhere. So as important as it is to play running rugby or to stick out your jumper, whatever works on the day to make sure that you win is the most important way of playing.
As for the pie making, the winning trio comprised Dylan Armitage, Steve Thompson and Dan Cole.
Let's now take a look at this morning's Sports Roundup.
Defending the Prime Minister over Commonwealth Games scam, yesterday, India's Sports Minister Ajay Maken accused the opposition-ruled National Democratic Alliance regime for appointing main accused Suresh Kalmadi as the chief organizer of the sporting extravaganza. Kalmadi is presently serving time at a prison in New Delhi after he was charged with financial embezzlement in awarding tenders for timing equipment worth millions of dollars in the Commonwealth Games that was held last year in New Delhi. In May, the country's federal police had filed its first charge sheet in the case, in which it had indicted Kalmadi and 10 others for financial irregularities. Kalmadi was also named as the prime accused in the report. Inter Milan held their first training session in Beijing yesterday ahead of this weekend's Italian Super Cup showdown against city rivals AC Milan at China's famed Olympic Stadium. Hundreds of fans turned out to watch Inter practice at Workers' Stadium, chanting and cheering for their heroes who face AC Milan in the Super Cup decider for the first time in the competition's history. The match taking place on Saturday evening in the Bird's Nest Stadium pits the champions of the previous Serie I season, AC Milan, against the Coppa Italian winners, Inter Milan. Family and fans of Taiwanese golfer Yanis Seng welcomed the youngest player to win 5 major titles as she arrived at Taiwan's Taoyuan International Airport yesterday. World number 1 Seng defended her British Open title with a final round 69 and a 16 under par 272 total on Sunday. It was the second major of the season and 5th overall for the 22-year-old Taiwanese after a 10-shot win at the LPGA Championship in July.
And up next is a look at the day's exchange rates. Well, join us on our hourly update starting off at 8:55 this morning. We leave you in the company of Discover Sri Lanka. Have a great day ahead.